Now, practicing scratching is not just about going through the motions, it's about growth. If you just drill the same flare that you've nailed 1,000 times, then your cuts will not get better. Real progress comes from pushing into the scratches and combos that feel uncomfortable, because that is actually where you level up. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I practice as a DMC champion, and at the end, you'll see my own live practice session where I put all of it together. There is a trap that people fall into when they practice scratching, and that is staying inside the comfort zone for too long. There are certain scratches that I just don't need to spend any time practicing right now. Things like transformers, and 2-click flares. Drilling scratches like this, it feels good, but here's the truth. Staying here doesn't make me better. It's safe, but it isn't growth. To get better as a scratch DJ, you need to go into every practice session with a clear goal. My goal today is to tidy up my 3-click flares and my continuous Autobahns. I can already do those scratches, but I've just neglected them for a little bit of time. So let's fix that. So this right here is the 3-click flare. So I've missed a couple of clicks there. I can pull this off fairly clean, but I want to be able to hit every 3-click flare all of the time, just like I can with the 2-click flare. And also my speed is not quite where I want it. Speed is always the thing that you should focus on last, so I'm not going to go too fast with my 3-click flares today. We're just going to focus on nailing every single click and try and go as fast as I can to push myself out of that comfort zone. The next scratch that I'm going to be working on today is the Autobahn, which is a variation of the boomerang. First, let's take a look at the boomerang. So it's a delayed 2-click flare, and the Autobahn is very similar. This is what the Autobahn sounds like. But what I actually need to work on is making sure that that gap at the end of each Autobahn that I did then is not there. So I was leaving a gap at the end and then going into the Autobahn again. But I actually need to work on making these continuous like this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put on an instrumental that is running at 90 BPM, and I'm going to see where I am with these scratches. If I could perform them cleanly, then I'm going to bring up the tempo of the instrumental. Let's begin with the Autobahn, and I'm going to start doing it with the gap and then progress into removing that gap and making it continuous. So that right there, you could actually hear that the BPM is just right because I'm missing a few clicks, but I'm nearly there. And I think with a little bit of drilling, I'll be able to nail this pretty quickly. And at that point, I can just increase the speed if I need to. So let's try again. This is the only way that you're actually going to see growth with your scratching. What I was performing there wasn't perfectly clean, but that's the point. Practice is about pushing yourself into that uncomfortable zone so that you actually grow. But here's the thing, when you're drilling a scratch like this, it helps massively to really understand the mechanics of what you're trying to perform. The timing, the movement, the flow, and that's exactly what I break down step by step inside my ultimate scratching course. Inside, I break down every technique step by step, and I also show you different combos and patterns for each scratch technique. That way, your scratching is not going to end up sounding repetitive and samey, which is crucial for learning to scratch properly. So if you really want to level up your scratching, hit the link down in the description. Now let's try practicing the 3-click flare over the same instrumental, and let's see whether we need to increase the speed or keep it where it is. So I'm actually going to increase the speed right here. It's currently at 90 BPM. Let's put it up to 94. So that right there was just right. I was missing a few of the clicks, which is perfect. I'm confident that if I drill that particular scratch for 5 to 10 minutes, then I'm going to nail all of those crossfader clicks every time. I've actually practiced the 2-click flare so much that I'm having to retrain my hand to move the fader 3 times because it's just so used to moving it twice. Something else that is super important when it comes to practicing specific techniques with your scratches is to make sure that you actually put in some different scratch techniques in with those techniques. The reason for this is it will help you become more fluent and dynamic when you're actually performing scratching. Otherwise, you could end up in the habit of just performing one scratch technique and then switching to another and then switching to another. That isn't ideal. We need to be able to combine all of these scratches together, and that's why I always like to get into the habit of practicing different combinations even when I'm drilling a specific scratch technique. So let's take that 3-click flare, for example, and this time I'm going to try and inject some different techniques into my practice. This is what's going to help you sound fluent and not robotic. Mixing different techniques like this is the best way to ensure that your scratches are not going to sound repetitive. The whole point here is we're trying to build our own scratching vocabulary so that we actually develop our own style. Okay, so we've talked about comfort zones, pushing yourself beyond your limits, and combining scratches. Now let me show you how I put it all together in a real live practice session. If you want to get better at scratching and really level up your cuts, then you should check out my ultimate scratching course where I break down everything step by step. The link is down in the description. I also have this playlist right here full of videos from a DMC champion that will help you out no matter what level you're at. If you follow the guidance I give you in these videos, you're going to level up your scratching in no time.